Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, the flyover states, to be specific. My name's Brian Engelman.
I'm Blake Walley.
And this is the Agree to Disagree show on the new American media, because the old American media has failed you intentionally, might I add. Today is Thursday, August the 17th, 2023. Ooh, we got so many stories cooking. But first, before we do, we want to tell you that we need to explain that countervailing views exist, and you must look at them if you want to have all of the well-rounded opinions that our masters tell us to tell you about. Go to cisa.gov/rumor control regarding all the election things, because, you know, Democrats can dispute them, but if Republicans do, 91 indictments, possible death penalty. They're clowns. But check out the countervailing views. The WHO website, go there along with cdc.gov and cdc.gov/vaccine, because they know all of the science. Trust the science. Trust the science. They know it all. We don't, except we did, and everything we talked about was accurate. They lied to you. We didn't, but they think they know it all, so we have to say this, otherwise we're going to get strikes on the accounts. Does this count, Blake, as the proper introduction and the proper disclaimer? Look, we got the ticker running at the bottom. We have the screen across the top. I know I said this all sarcastically, but I do mean it. Blake's frozen. Or Blake's very stoic. He's either frozen or stoic. Oh, there he is.
I was frozen. Okay. Wow.
He's back.
It's great to be here.
Yes. Okay, so these are all the things. We need you to go check them out. I'm going to take it off the screen here. Hide that. I tried to hide it. Hold on. I'll try to hide. Yep, there we go. It's gone. Wait, Blake's gone too.
Yep. Okay.
See, this is what happens. We try to give you countervailing views, and then our deep state handlers throw their little bugs into the system to kind of mess up our broadcast. Oh, well, we will not be dissuaded. We're going to cover all of the interesting stories of the day, including the following. Did Apple remove the Glenn Beck show? Really big show. Did they remove the Glenn Beck podcast from Apple iTunes or whatever they call it, their podcasts, because they feared a Biden revelation, or plural, Biden revelations? Do you agree or disagree? The left indicted Trump in Georgia to distract them from Biden family corruption. Do you agree or disagree? There's irrefutable evidence that the Georgia election was, in fact, rigged. Agree or disagree? The purpose of the Trump indictment is to demonstrate the left's power. Agree or disagree? These questions or statements and more will be coming up on today's program. So without further ado, let's jump into today's very first topic. All right, then. We are going to pose this statement to Blake, and we're going to find out if he agrees or disagrees. But you need to follow Blake in all of the places. So start by going on Twitter. It's now called X. It's kind of stupid. It's kind of lame. It's not growing on me. Neither are the Cleveland Guardians. They're still the Tribe. I don't like saying the G word. I don't like change. Just something is something. Don't change it. I don't like.
No.
Yeah, Blake's
You're
all
more
about
conservative by nature. I embrace change if it's good change. And I kind of like the Guardians, and I kind of like the Commanders. I know that's unpopular. I hated the other one. I hated the name the Redskins. I thought that was bad. I hate their colors. I hate their mascot, the pig thing. I don't get any of it. So I think they needed a name change. There's my controversial football opinion for the day.
Wow. Well, you know, the petition is growing. I think it's north of 60,000 with their new ownership group to bring the Redskins back. But I guess, I don't know, let it be known on today's episode of the Agree to Disagree show, Blake Walley says he likes the Washington Commies. He thinks the Washington Commies is a great name. And I'll tell you what, yes, Kenneth B says the Washington Foreskins. All right, that might be a little different. Or they could have just kept the name Redskins and changed their logo to some small potatoes. It reminds me of a Norm Macdonald joke about Huckleberry Finn, but I'm not going to tell it. It's friggin' hilarious, though. Anyway, I digress. If you know the joke, you know the joke. But anyway, Blake, agree or disagree here that the purpose... Oh, wait. Blake's on Twitter, rather. We lost it on X and took a side path. I'm going to bring us back on the road. Blake is on Twitter. He's at TV's Blake Walley, Walley. And then you can also follow him on his site called The Next Level News. Not gov.com, thenextlevelnews.org. No, it's thenextlevelnews.com. So check it out. Blake, the purpose of the Trump indictment is to demonstrate the left's power. Agree or disagree?
I'm going to agree on this. I think they've got a weak case here, and they're just trying to look powerful. It's a big con game. And so, yes, they're throwing out some massive indictments, and it could be life in prison for Trump or several life sentences or death penalty. Why not? Why not for all of them? So, yeah, it's a big show, and I think it's BS. And I did rip off that title like I sometimes do. This one is out of the Federalist, I do believe. Let me see if I can pull this one up. Oh, man, I got too many tabs open up. Here we go.
You're acting like me with too many tabs open. I got browser. I have like 4 browser windows with about 20 tabs each.
Well, there's a difference. Brian, you've got some mental issue. Brian never shuts his computer down. He only puts it on sleep mode, and he leaves everything. There's open tabs everywhere. I shut my computer down. I at least give it a chance to refresh itself, and then anything I need to go to, I can just reopen again. Why Brian just never closes a window? I cannot understand it. But,
well, they say when one window closes, another Trump indictment enters. So I don't want to close or one window opens, a Trump indictment flies in. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, we'll get to that because that is also a key, one of the major things happening. It seems like whenever there's a little push on the Biden family, all of a sudden there's another Trump indictment. And I guess this is just another one. But let me get to this article here. Purpose of the Trump indictments is to demonstrate the left's power. So Trump and 18 others charged in Georgia indictment. Once again, this isn't hypocrisy, it's hierarchy, and it amounts to a threat. Imagine what we can do to you. So the latest indictment of former President Donald Trump is even more outlandish than Jack Smith's blatant attempt to criminalize free speech. The indictment Monday out of Fulton County criminalizes mundane activities like asking for a phone number, texting, encouraging people to watch a televised hearing, and reserving a room at the Georgia Capitol. So these activities, according to Georgia prosecutor Fannie Willis, run afoul of the state's racketeer influenced and corrupt organizations statute, RICO. So as far as Willis is concerned, Trump's legal efforts to challenge the election results in Georgia amounted to a criminal conspiracy with Trump as the criminal mastermind. And what that means, outlandishly, is that every phone call or tweet related to those legal efforts, every step Trump and his team took to press their legal case counts in this world as an overt act in furtherance of the conspiracy. So it's totally crazy, and it's so just blatant hypocrisy coming out of Atlanta, out of Georgia, when they have Stacey Abrams, who made a huge fuss about how she thought the election was stolen from her in 2018. In fact, they have a 5-minute supercut of all the time she denied it all. So
well, let's get a little bit of that supercut. Let's just get a taste of that, please.
I do have one very affirmative statement to make. We won. I didn't lose. I got the votes. But we won't know exactly how many because of how they cheated. I did win my election. I just didn't get to have the job. We were robbed of an election.
Using the word rigged, using the word steal, do you think it's dangerous going into 2020?
I don't, because we can actually back it up. And so in response to what I believe
same here
was a stolen election, I'm not saying they stole it from me, they stole it from the voters of Georgia. In fact, someone outside asked if I'm ever going to concede. The answer is no. This is not a speech of concession. Because concession means to acknowledge an action is right, true, or proper. And I will not concede because the erosion of our democracy is not right.
It's a constitutional republic.
It was not a free and fair election. Yeah. I think the election was stolen from the people of Georgia.
I believe it was stolen from the voters. Thousands of Georgians had their voices stolen because they were not able to cast ballots. And they cannot be guaranteed that their votes will be counted in 2020 if we don't do this right.
Okay, well, there is just a taste. That's 20% of it. There is much more. So it's how can the left sit there and they ran an investigation on Trump thinking that he somehow colluded with Russia, even though they made up all the dossier and all the reasons for them to go look at it, spied on his election. And then we've got Stacey Abrams here, blatantly out there complaining about massive election fraud. That's okay. So how can they turn around and all of a sudden charge? They actually indicted Trump along with 18 other people for basically doing he's not manufacturing anything. So it wasn't like he's manufacturing evidence or pulling it out of his ass. Like, there were a lot of problems with that election and things that people noticed from that caused it to be put into question.
And by the way, I did tweak the title a little bit. I tweaked it twice. It's not about the left demonstrating their power. It's the Democrat deep state. Now, the Democrat deep state, that also includes the rhinos on the Republican side. But this is an infiltrated government. This is established. Concrete has been poured and dried. This is a deep state overthrow of a democratic republic, a former democratic republic. And the Democrats seem to be leading the way. The Republicans, air quote Republicans, seem to be acquiescing to the deep state globalist New World Order plan of the day, plan du jour, if you will. But this really is a Democrat deep state power grab. We have to put in there that this is the alphabet agencies doing this. It's not just some wacky politician. You can look at Pelosi, you can look at Biden. We all know that it's Barack Hussein Obama controlling the puppet strings with the earpiece in, telling Joe Biden, the meat suit puppet, what to say on screen. Oh, speaking of what to say on screen, I don't know if you noticed, but I saw this earlier today where the spokeshole for the Biden administration, Karine Jean-Pierre, PR, that she tweeted out as Joe Biden. Did you happen to catch that one, Blake?
I did. Yeah, it was an accident, but it wasn't, a real surprise. You kind of
no. But now we know now we see behind the curtain. It's like Kevin Durant and his burner account on Twitter. It's nice to see. It's nice to finally have it out there. Joe can't tie his shoelaces or swap out his Depends. He's certainly not tweeting or posting on X or whatever. That doesn't even sound right, posting on X. I just got used to saying something stupid as tweeting. Now, I don't like changing it. Yes, I am conservative, Blake. Get another app, get another company. Keep Twitter, get another app and call that X and roll your Twitter into it. And this is where you, whatever. I digress. But yeah, right. the man behind the curtain has been exposed in that regard. But
imagine how terrifying it would be to know that Biden was in the other room and he was tweeting unsupervised.
Oh my God. I would pay. That would be pay-per-view if we could live tweet what's inside that gross pederast's head. Alleged. According to Ashley Biden in her diary. Her words, not mine. And you abuse the kid enough and he calls him Pedo Peter. And you see all of the abuse coming from Hunter Biden, allegedly. So it's like apple doesn't fall from the tree. But I digress. Back to all of this, Blake.
Yes. Okay. Well, so we pull up another article here. Let's see. Okay, here's another good one. This is Trump firing back. This is out of Becker News at the Fulton County DA by hinting at irrefutable report on Georgia election fraud. So he wants to prove it, and he should. He had many reasons to be suspicious of that, especially in Georgia, where he was assuming he would have won fairly easily, at least for the re-election.
He was, by the way. He was up majorly in every state that miraculously, simultaneously paused all of their counting. We're talking North Carolina, Michigan. We're going to North Carolina, in Michigan, in Arizona. Woo! What was that guy's name? John Dean? Was it John Dean?
Howard Dean, yeah.
Howard Dean. I knew it wasn't John Dean. Howard Dean. But Donald Trump was up massively. We're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of votes in all of the places: Georgia, Arizona, Michigan, North Carolina, Pennsylvania. Up massively. I was ready. Like, I already had my bourbon. It was ready to be Donald Trump wins it, a cakewalk, the biggest blowout since Mondale in 80, whatever. That's 84. Exactly what we were all watching. They went, wait a minute. Why are they not counting anymore? Hold on. They're pausing. Hold on. The water main break. Hold on. What? None of this makes any sense. And they are trying to gaslight us like none of that happened. They're trying to make you believe, like, don't believe your lying eyes from 2.5 years ago. We've got this. Trust us. Joe Biden won. Joe Biden didn't win shit. That's just what my spidey senses tell me. I saw it in real time. Well, it's just kind of how it worked this one year. For the first time, because of COVID and such. Of course, it took a little longer to count the votes to figure out how many they needed to overturn the actual will of the people. Blake, it doesn't even pass. It doesn't remotely pass the Joe Biden creepy sniff test. It doesn't pass the sniff test at all.
No, it never did, but they didn't want anybody talking about it, and the courts refused to look at the information. It was very frustrating. There was the long drag out in Maricopa County with the cyber ninjas, but they still never got access to the Dominion software and the machines, so it kind of got stalled. So we never really got a full audit so we could accept the results. And Atlanta was one of the worst spots, Fulton County there.
Well, tell me why the Supreme Court didn't jump in. Donald Trump lost all of his lawsuits. It's like he didn't have any lawsuits. He was denied, saying that he didn't have status. He didn't have what's the word I'm looking for? Not status, not
standing or
standing, probably. That they're trying to say that the president of the United States didn't have standing to have an investigation and trial regarding the states that had anomalous, miraculous, completely unbelievable shenanigans attached to their votes. There was never a day in court. And so the only positive coming out of this, seeing 91 indictments, you can indict a ham sandwich, but 91 times, it's been ridiculous, but it's even more so. Is this really going to end up being Donald Trump's first and only attempt to litigate the 2020 election in a court of law? Is this going to finally be the chance to expose all of this? Or is this just another Q pipe dream where they're sitting around, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Trust the plan. Trust the plan. Trust the plan. Trust the plan. Oh, I love the plan. I love the plan so much.
Right. Yeah, we'll see. So this could backfire in a way, depending on what kind of information he can put out there. So he has some power to subpoena in the DC against Jack Smith, and he is going to put on an irrefutable report on Monday coming up that this 2020 election was rigged. So on the platform, this is on Truth Social, Trump stated that a large, complex, detailed, but irrefutable report on the presidential election fraud, which took place in Georgia, is almost complete and will be presented by Trump himself at a major news conference at 11 o'clock of next week in Bedminster, New Jersey. And based on the results of this conclusive report, all charges should be dropped against me and others. There will be a complete exoneration. They never went after those that rigged the election. They only went after those that fought to find the riggers. So now several legal professionals voiced agreement with his viewpoint. Robert Barnes, constitutional lawyer, remarked the indictment is the most insane yet by the looniest prosecutor yet. Claims tweets are conspiracies, legal advice is a crime, constitutional law is a criminal act, and demanding officials to do their job, criminal solicitation. It's an embarrassment to the state of Georgia and the country. Let's continue. Let's see. Fani Willis refused to say whether she's colluding with the Biden Justice Department, including Jack Smith. House Republicans must subpoena those communications. Good point there by Mike Davis.
Immediately. Because it doesn't matter whether they subpoena it or not. Like that, what was it, 17 months or 27 months that they were supposed to keep all of those, all of the logs?
22. or something.
22, whatever the number was. They just delete their stuff. When they're guilty of sin, they just delete it. Oh, you mean wipe it like with a cloth? Says Hillary when called out about all of her private servers. She was never president, never. And that's pretty beautiful, actually, that at least we accomplished that, keeping that wicked witch of the East Coast out of there.
Wicked witch of Washington, yes.
Yeah, wicked witch of Washington. Ooh, triple word score, triple alliteration score. But I mean, Hillary just blatantly smashed these cell phones and wiped them with bleach bit. Nothing ever happened. And then like, oh, Donald Trump had some boxes. Oh, he's got to be. We gotta kill him for that. And the charges literally include a penalty of death. A penalty of death. He's the president of the United States. He's the commander in chief. He can take some boxes. That's it. The Clinton socks drawer case. You take some boxes. And he was in communication with everybody over there with that agency. And they had it in a locked room and they had it in a double locked room. They made him add more locks. And then he got raided in a midnight raid at Mar-a-Lago, and they're sniffing Melania's panties. These people are monsters, dude. It's just, we are past, we are way past the line of sanity here. We're in complete uncharted territory. It's almost as if we sailed across the flat earth and we've crossed the ice wall over in Antarctica now. We are seeing behind the curtain in every regard.
All right, but you are joking about the Earth being flat, though.
I'm telling you that other people say there's an ice wall. Either way, I will say I'm legitimately convinced that there is very important, perhaps the most important stuff going on is in Antarctica right now. So I am convinced of that. I'm not specifically saying I believe that the Earth is flat and there's an ice wall, but I think Antarctica is hiding a lot of really important things that we need to know about.
That could be. Yeah, I'm sure it's got a lot of rich history there that isn't known to the public yet. But no, I don't want to say that the Earth is flat and dismiss anything that we're presenting here. Although everyone is encouraged to visit CISA.gov and rumor control or CDC's if we talk about anything medically related. All right, but let's get back to this article and going with the proof out of Georgia. Yes, and here's the DA, which they accidentally published the indictment, said it wasn't real or what have you, and then yes it was. This isn't about justice; it's about election interference. They sat on this for a long time. They're bringing it out now for several reasons. One is to interfere in 2024. Drag it out, and another reason to distract, another reason just to keep him from running, and they're going to try to get him and 18 of his friends and colleagues to turn on each other. They have no reason to show up in Fulton County and to deal with this kangaroo court. So here's all the different conspiracies, all these felonies, serious felonies. Can
you read some of those out?
There's a violation of the Georgia RICO Act. There's solicitation of violation, oath by public officer, conspiracy to commit impersonating a public officer, conspiracy to commit forgery, to commit false statements and writings, filing false documents, forgery in the first degree, false statements and writings, filing false documents, again, solicitation of violation of oath by public officer, more false statements and writings, solicitation of violation of oath by public officer. I mean, this is so just trumped up. More false statements and writings.
So essentially, they took all of the Biden crime family, actual crimes, and they just slapped Trump's name on them.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot worse. There should be. It should be 1,000 times worse with the Biden family, but they don't want you to know about that. But just to get into what's going on here, there's a lot of evidence that there was some shady things happening in Atlanta that night during the election night. So yeah, poll watchers were sent home because of a pipe leak. So let's see. Let's get into some of this stuff here.
Do you want me to switch to the second topic here?
Oh, I guess you could if you want. Yeah, might as well. So we've got just Tracy Beans putting out that among the alleged acts of the conspiracy is claiming that there appeared to be foul play at the State Farm Arena. Poll watchers were sent home because of the pipe leak, but there was one that occurred on Election Day. The pipe leak occurred at State Farm Arena around 6 a.m., causing a delay of approximately 2 hours in the absentee ballot counting, as stated by election officials. However, the ballot counting that Donald Trump's campaign claimed took place without monitors happened over 16 hours after that incident. More significant is the implication that poll watchers were not sent home early, and thus the ballot counting caught on video at State Farm Arena by closed circuit TV, apparently unbeknownst to the election workers, was legal and legitimate, but it was not. And the Fulton County Public Affairs Manager for Elections stated on independent media that ballot counters were sent home at 10:30. The poll watchers were sent home as well, but a timestamp video shows that election workers stayed behind, pulled out boxes of ballots from under the table, and ran them through the tabulator, some ballots apparently multiple times.
I'd like to introduce
I don't have too much of this because
Jackie.
it's a 31-minute video of just them showing this CCTV video footage, and there were people pulling out these big boxes, these these luggage from underneath the tables. So it looked like they were phony ballots here. And then you've got Tucker Carlson, before he was fired, also doing the hard evidence. We can watch a minute or two of this. Here we go.
In a warehouse, except it's not true. In a warehouse. Except it's not true. It now appears there actually was meaningful voter fraud in Fulton County, Georgia last November. That is not a conspiracy theory. It's true. From the beginning, this show has tried to be fact-based when we talk about the 2020 election results. So here's what we know tonight, factually. At least 36 batches of mail-in ballots from the November election were double counted in Fulton County. That's a total of more than 4,000 votes. Those numbers come from a group called Voter GA, which, along with Bob Cheeley, sued to get them. The final tally from the double counts we know about amounts to more than 3,300 votes for Joe Biden and 865 votes for Donald Trump. Now, before you dismiss Bob Cheeley and Voter GA as dishonest partisan actors, keep in mind that the strongly left-of-center Atlanta Journal-Constitution appears to agree with this, at least in outline. The newspaper reviewed the available digital ballot images independently and concluded that hundreds of ballots were improperly duplicated. What does that look like exactly? Well, here's what it looks like. At a press conference yesterday, a consultant with Voter GA called David Cross showed how we can be certain that votes in Fulton County were counted more than once. Watch.
What I'm going to show you here is two ballots side by side. One of them is marked for Jason Shaw, and it's got a little squiggle mark next to it. You can see it's got the identical mark on the second one. And the ballot image is stored up here on the top left. So this one over here is scanner 5162. That's scanner number 3. Fax number 235. Image number 19. And that matches 234, image 59. So you have the same ballot counted twice in the images and counted in the audit. How that's possible, I don't know.
Yeah, that's because there was.
How's that possible? I don't know.
There's a lot of it, and so they would actually have to look at all the machinery and look at the way that they did things, whether it was ballot harvesting or manufacturing or finding ballots under the table, running them through the tabulators multiple times. Or yes, just the double counting, because they can find some very obvious ones that are in different batches. It doesn't make any sense. So they pulled out all the stops to rig the election. It certainly appears, and there's a lot of things to look at. So I'm really curious to see what Trump is going to do on Monday. So he's got every reason to question that, I would think. But they don't want people to know about that. They want to just throw all these, indictments. It's all showy and it looks like a big deal, but it's pretty hollow. And it comes with unusual timing again. And I don't know, Brian, if you want to make a comment here before I get to that other video, which is also crucially important to put this together.
Yeah, toss it up.
All right, let's do it. Now, let's see. There's another one here. The Trump indictments documents published online before the grand jury's official vote. So there's another problem they had with that. Well, let's tie this in to this report out of Fox News. Here we go. Uh-oh.
I don't see it.
The timeline of Trump's indictments versus the key developments in the Hunter saga. So let's start in New York City this March. Look at this: Biden family and the laptop revelations versus Trump's indictments. So this is the first indictment. March 16th, the House Oversight Committee reveals that Biden family payments from this Chinese energy company. Well, look at this. 2 days later, Trump says he's going to be indicted in New York. He wrote that on social media. Then April 4th, the Manhattan DA, Alvin Bragg, indicts Trump in that hush money case. This is right after we find out about all this money from the energy company. Okay, so that is New York City. Let's go to Florida. This is in June. The bribery allegations and the plea deals versus Trump's second indictment. So these are the classified documents, Mar-a-Lago stuff. So on June 7th, the FBI releases the documents alleging that the Bidens took the $10 million bribe from Burisma. Remember, the owner of Burisma caught in the coffee shop saying $5 million for one Biden, $5 million for another. Then the very next day, look at this, Jack Smith indicts Trump in the Mar-a-Lago document case. Then on July 26th, that's the Hunter Biden sweetheart deal that's rejected. The very next day, July 27th, Jack Smith adds more charges in the Mar-a-Lago case. Let's slap some more charges to that. All right, so then in July, let's go to D.C. Devin Archer interview versus Trump's third indictment. So this was the January 6th stuff. July 31st, Devin Archer testifies that Joe Biden was on 20-plus phone calls with his son's business partners. The very next day, Jack Smith indicts Trump for the January 6th case. Coincidence? We don't know. You decide. All right, now let's go to Georgia. This happened recently, the last few days. FBI agent transcript versus Trump's fourth indictment. So in the morning, on August 14th, GOP releases the transcripts from this FBI agent involved in the Hunter Biden investigation. And it happens to coincide with what the whistleblower was saying, that someone tipped off, the Secret Service tipped off Hunter Biden. He was never interviewed. So their stories are very similar. So then on August 14th, that same day, later in the afternoon or that night and that evening, Fulton County DA Fonnie Willis charges Trump and 18 others in the Georgia 2020 election probe. You have the facts. You make up your mind. Your decision. Is this a?
Yeah.
It reminds me, Blake, exactly of election night. What was that? November 3rd, 2020, right?
Correct.
Of course it was coordinated. Who gave the order to stop counting the votes to declare Trump the landslide winner up by hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of votes? They're clearly coordinated. This is a nationwide criminal syndicate. They're all on the same team. It is incredibly coordinated. You want to talk RICO? Holy shit, it's right in your face, but it's the opposite of what you're doing. It's not Trump. It's the Democrat deep state apparatus. Clear as day.
Yeah, absolutely. And if people really want a great, conspiracy story about election fraud, I mean, it's not only just, the Mueller investigation and all the Russiagate stuff, but it's also this crazy one out of Michigan where, with the guns, the burner phones, the fake registrations, gigantic Michigan voter fraud scandal. There's 70 organizations operating in 20 states tied to the Joe Biden campaign. So, I mean, there is massive stuff to look at if we want an exciting election fraud case. But they don't want you looking at that. They want you to, believe that it's all on Trump's side and that they're going to go get them in Georgia. So it's a weak case at best. But it sounds, it sounds good. A little red meat for their base. But there's so much stuff going on, and that's going into the 2,000 mules. I mean, we could just go on and on about all of the problems we found just in 2020 alone. So, yeah, but they will continue to distract from their scandals and make mountains out of molehills with Trump, or just manufacture stuff altogether.
Oh, you mean like when the feds created a plot to kidnap, I'm sorry, air quote, kidnap Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan?
Right.
You mean when Katie Hobbs was the Secretary of State and she ran her own election? She should have been thrown out. She should have had to recuse herself. I'm hearing the judge. I'm sorry. I am blending all of these 91 indictments and all of these different areas together. But the one judge she worked with, Perkins Coie, was it? She was part of her law firm represented the fake Russian dossier, the Steele dossier. Perkins Coie, the Democrat National Committee with Hillary Clinton. This judge was involved with that, donated thousands of dollars to Barack Hussein Obama's campaign, was part of the frame job, the attempted frame job. Well, what is one of the 10 commandments? You shalt not bear false witness. That's what framing somebody is. You're bearing a false witness. And that's exactly what they're doing. But I guess that this judge is completely up to her eyeballs. Like, they would have to recuse themselves. And I guess there was a previous case, and she refused to recuse herself. And then the outcry got too large, and she actually finally had to. But it was she tried to play it off like she was an impartial observer. Oh no, I can call balls and strikes, says the umpire. It's like, bro, your son is playing first base for that team. You can't be impartial. That's exactly what they're doing. It is completely transparent, Blake. These are high crimes and misdemeanors from all of this criminal syndicate that is coordinated in this effort to frame Donald Trump to try to put Biden or another Obama in for the fourth Obama term in 2024.
Yeah, looks like they're rigging everything to go in their favor, get rid of their opposition, and ensure the kleptocracy stays in power in D.C. and to prevent them from, they're the ones that should be prosecuted for all of the different things that they're doing. Meanwhile, they're trying to pose as the good guys going after Donald Trump.
They lied about January 6th with Pelosi and Kinzinger and Cheney for 2 years. These are the least reliable people on earth. The least reliable.
Evidence. Yep. Mm-hmm. They only showed very select portions that they wanted to be seen. And they started freaking out and melting down when Tucker got access and started exposing some of the hoaxes from that, and just barely got it started. And then they had to get rid of him. #1 cable news show host.
Do they think they're going to get away with this? Like, I mean, they really think they're going to?
Until people rise up and do something. So, yeah, it's time. I wish there was something way for the left and right to get together, the left to figure this out and realize they're being played for fools. And then we can just cut off D.C. Like, forget Guantanamo or whatever. Just cut off D.C. They can stay on their own little island away from the rest of us.
Speaking of Guantanamo, did you see the story about how these J6 prisoners are being tortured in the prisons?
Yes, I did. And you tweeted that out, and I saw it out of the Gateway Pundit, and I do have that story in my pile. So why don't I pull that up? This is what they are doing. I think we did have a agree to disagree question on that as well. But yeah, here it is. National disgrace. So this is the January 6th prisoner abuse. Tortured 5 months in isolation in a closet room with a light on and a bucket for a toilet. Where are the ACLU, the Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch? Where is the humanity? Because this is just unbelievable. Yeah, this is a mop closet. So if you work at a restaurant or a bar, you might have a little room like this where you have your mop bucket and a sink where you put all your chemicals or what have you in there. And they're putting a human being inside of this. Yes, this is like the size of a closet. It's got no socks, no clothing. Who knows how cold it is? How do you sleep in conditions like that? He's still being tortured years later for what? What did he do? Walk into the Capitol building on J6? He was let in the doors, didn't know any better? I don't know. This is Ryan Samsel, political prisoner. He's been held in prison without a trial now since January of 2021. So what is that? 2.5 years.
Where's the speedy trial? Like that's enshrined in our governing documents. Because if they drag it out long enough, they give you a punishment without even being guilty of anything, which is why it's enshrined in our governing documents that you have the right to a speedy trial. I'm sorry, it's 2.5 years for what? Does it say what this guy was charged with doing? Like, is he dead to rights? Like, was he one of the most violent people? Did he cause a concussion on someone? Did he knock out some teeth? Did he, like, does it say what he did?
Let's just say that if that conspiracy theory was true with Brian Sicknick, officer, that he did get in fact beaten to death with a fire extinguisher, and that it was Ryan Samsel's fault and they had him dead to rights, then maybe I'd say, okay, well, I guess he did this to himself. But I mean, everybody's entitled to some kind of a trial. But I mean,
everybody's entitled to a jail cell where you're not going to get abused, and well, just where you're not going to be abused. Like, either we're into torture or we're not. And that's not enshrined in our governing documents. You give somebody a room, you give somebody a cell, you give them your, here's your toilet, here's your food, and here you go. That's a fucking mop closet, dude. 2.5 years later? Are you kidding me? This is,
well, it's not. It's a different facility. I think this one is out of Philadelphia. I guess they've moved them around to 17. That's when they're really trying to break you. And in 2.5 years, they moved them around to 17 different facilities. And these are probably cleaner conditions, actually, than the DC gulag.
17 transfers for what purpose?
That's when they just try to break you, because I think they want them to turn on the Proud Boys, or MAGA, whatever. They want to, if they can just break your spirit, then they can get you to go along, make a deal, and throw everybody else under the bus. But
if you need to arrest a guy in Utah, you pick him up when he's getting his mail. You pick him up when he's out at Walmart. You watch his place, and you don't blow the door down and execute him. If you want to arrest somebody and charge him with crimes, all right, arrest him, charge him with crimes. You don't throw him in a mop closet for God knows how long, on the ground, damn near naked, shitting in a mop bucket, not even a toilet. Yep. Are you, dude? This is lunatic. These people who are involved in this need to be prosecuted.
Yeah. Legally. Yeah, and they might have to spend a month or two in there. I don't want to punish people, and this is not the American way. I'm not trying. I don't want to do to them what they're trying to do to these people. But guys, they're making a case for little karmic justice here. This is sickening. Yeah, the guards, the wardens, the people that are trying to do that, are putting themselves in this situation, probably deserve 5 months in a closet room, just like that.
Meanwhile,
they're above the law, right?
Meanwhile, America burned during 2020, and people like Kamala Harris, they bailed them out, and these district attorneys across these big blue cities where they caused all this damage. How many people were actually charged? How many people were let go and their charges were dropped? The ones that lit the fires in DC in the church? Like, where are the charges for the actual people that are committing
the masked terrorists? Yeah, looting, arson, violence, and they're okay.
Where's the equal treatment? At least, where's the equal treatment? A mostly peaceful protest that got out of hand. Okay, so are they all sitting in a mop closet, crapping in a mop closet on a gym mat?
Nope.
Okay, so there's no justice in America. So I'm assuming that's what the ACLU Amnesty International topic was about, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're supposed to have people's backs, but not. I guess the DNC is too powerful of a machine.
The deep state.
They won't do anything. Yep, the deep state. So even in America, that should not happen, but it is happening. Or that should only happen for like punishment for like the actual seriously violent criminals that can't be allowed in civil society because they will do awful things to people. So they're basically animals that do need to be locked in cages. But still, that's just, torturing people. But it's again, they're trying to break them, to make a deal, to turn on the Proud Boys and what have you. So, but that's not how we do justice here, or we're not supposed to. And now that we have it, we should be against this. But I'm not seeing anybody from the left saying, hey, this is too much. Like, hey, screw Trump and hope he doesn't get reelected. But I mean, they are out for blood. They and of course they would march us all off to gulags if they could.
I saw something earlier. I think I tweeted it out. Where did or was it on Telegram? Okay, so check out thenewamericanmedia.com, youtube.com/The New American Media, Rumble, The New American Media, X at American_media_, Truth Social, The New American Media, Spotify, The Agree to Disagree Show, Instagram, The New American Media, Telegram, TNAM and TNAM Chat, as well as the same on Signal. We're over there, and we're on Dust also. We're on all sorts of things. Might as well be on a kite floating above the Rockies, just floating off in the distance. We're on a kite. We're attached to a helium balloon floating in the winds, like a Chinese spy balloon, if you will. But follow us in all the places. I was going to circle back here I was going to pull a Jen Psaki and circle back.
Yeah.
Did we have more on this question? Or this statement, rather, because I know we did get into the timeline, the Fox News timeline of when Biden gets exposed. It's a distraction when they go after Trump. Did you have anything else in the stack on this particular topic? Because we've kind of bounced around topics because they're all connected. So I want to make sure.
I mean, that's basically the Fox News clip that we already played.
Okay,
is this to show that every time something bad happens to the Bidens, oops, it's like, hey, look over here, now we're going to indict Trump, but it's all pre-planned, like this Atlanta thing, where they leaked it out to the internet accidentally, but it's like they're just sitting on this stuff. They're throwing that out, oh, we might indict Trump, and then all of a sudden, boom, they go after Hunter Biden, and then boom, they switch it back. And so then that drowns the news cycle again. And
well,
yep.
Good.
I was going to say all the hacks, flacks, and lackeys on the left, just take it and run with it.
Well, that's what I was trying to remember, if I shared it on Telegram or if it was on Twitter. I'm sorry, X. I shared something, and tell me if you happened to see it earlier today. But it wasn't Paul Joseph. I don't even remember who said it. I'm finding content and sharing it all day, so forgive me when I can't remember how to properly attribute some of these things, but one of them was just like the Democrats are so giddy about the Trump indictments. It was a prognostication that Pornhub is going to create a brand new category of people that prefer getting off to Trump being indicted. Like, I mean, it's like it's a mental illness. It's beyond a fetish. It's like my kink is watching Trump get indicted.
Prosecution porn.
Yes. Prosecution porn. Yes, that's what it is. Prosecution porn. All right. Well, let's go from one prosecution to someone who's being persecuted and being deplatformed. We know all too well about that. Next topic. Agree or disagree, Blake Walley, on Twitter at TV's Blake Walley. Apple removed Glenn Beck show, the Glenn Beck show, because they feared Biden revelations. Agree or disagree?
That is a tough one. So maybe I'll say disagree. Maybe they just went after Glenn Beck for any number of reasons. It's hard to say if they actually, they definitely want to take all those voices down. But did they actually have like a heads up, like, oh, hey, I heard Glenn Beck's got a real damning report with the Biden family. Let's shut it off now before he goes on air tonight. I don't know if he actually he'd planned that out. It wasn't something where wait till August 16th and we're gonna have the most explosive bombshell thing you ever heard. It's gonna melt your face when we put the podcast out exclusively on Apple. Then maybe I could see them just dropping the hammer and saying, oh, no, you're not. But no, they did take him down, though. And that's a serious problem for whatever reason it was. Internally, they're not, sharing, coming forth with that information. They rarely do because they know they don't really have much of a case. But here we go. Apple removes.
Before we jump into it, that's such an important point, as Kenneth says. Yeah, they went from Apple to crapple. I like that. Thank you, Kenneth. And by the way, if you're watching the show, leave some comments. I love the participation. It makes this so much more fun and engaging. But that's, I shared something earlier today. I believe I tagged you on it on Twitter at American_media_. Make sure you're following us, and make sure you join Dreamer Ultra, because we started the Agree to Disagree private chat. So we continue covering stories. And by the way, make sure you pull up that one about the big short one that he recommended we talk about. But
I got that.
Yeah, I shared something about Elon Musk talking about how they're going to make the information publicly available so that we can see our account status. Have we been shadow banned? Have we been deranked and deboosted? And it's like, well, it's about damn time. Like, number one, you shouldn't be doing this to us. And we say it all the time. We shorten the Second Amendment to shall not be infringed. Stop. It's just that easy. First Amendment, leave us alone. We have the right to communicate. If we're not in the act of committing some sort of felonious offense, we have the right to talk. Well, it's a private company. Shut up. America, we're allowed to talk if we're not committing crimes. Talking is not a crime. So I am not a fan of any of this deranking and deboosting, but if you're going to do it, tell us what happened. Facebook, why did you delete the page for the New American Media? Oh, I missed it. I got this one little fruit fly likes to come around. For the New American Media, why did you delete our page? Still have never had an answer. I deserve at least an answer. I really deserve an opportunity to remedy any alleged issue. Is there something that was taken out of context? Could I delete a video? Is there, what was the issue? How do we correct this? There's no communication. They just throw you and your company and your livelihood down the memory hole, down the abandoned mine shaft you go. Oh, and it's a private company run by the deep state. So, nothing you can do. Private company, Section 230. We got the protections of a publisher or the protections of a platform, but we actually function as publishers. Okay, cool. But yeah, okay, so tell Beck, what was it? But like you said, they don't tell you shit. They'll ding your account. Oh, you're in a 2-week timeout. Oh, they did that to me multiple times. And then they just deleted my company page. I don't know why. We should at least, there needs to be an Internet Bill of Rights, something that we can at least document what happened. What is the cause? And they should have to defend their actions. And they haven't been in a position, nobody's put them in a position, the social media companies, where they would have to defend their actions. And that's criminal to me. That is such a miss. That is something the Republican Party, instead of spending all their time on this Weekend at Bernie's Manchurian candidate named Biden, got it. Yeah, get out of here. This Manchurian candidate, Biden, how about putting forward a path of what you're going to do to make the nation a better place? At least Ramaswamy's doing some of that. I'm not totally on his team, but I like a lot of what he's doing. Trump's doing that too with Agenda 20. What's he calling it? Agenda 2024?
I'm not sure exactly what Trump is doing. I just think of UN Agenda 2030, but I don't know.
Well, it's a play on that. And so Trump did like Agenda 2024, I think it is. And so it's like a series of like 2, 3, 4 minute videos where he's putting a path forward of, in my next administration, this is what I'm going to do. It's pretty brilliant, actually. But nobody's talking about that. All they're talking about is 91 criminal indictments. They are so successful in muddying the water so you can't see, no, he really does have a good path forward for America. Well, you're never going to hear about it because all of the lying legacy media companies, they focus on the nonsensical stories. But I'm going to wash my hands. Go ahead. Tell us about Glenn Beck for a second.
Okay. Well, getting back, Glenn said that Apple removed all of his podcasts from iTunes on Wednesday, and he panned over a message that he received from Apple. Hey, your show has been removed from Apple Podcasts. Thank you. No, thank you. It's just the Apple Podcast team. So we found an issue, but they don't say anything, which must be resolved before it's available again. So he did his 2-minute rant asking about that. and asking for supporters to retweet, but we'll just cover it instead. It says he wonders if today's podcast asking who the real crime family is had something to do with this apparent censorship by Apple. So we don't know. That could be. We don't know internally. So I guess
does he have. You said he gave a little bit of a statement. Are you able to play any of it, or are they really long and rambling, or does he kind of get to the point? Is it
not bad?
Hey, we're just sitting here in my office, and we're discussing something that we just saw here. This is from Apple. We found an issue with your show, the Glenn Beck program, which must be resolved before it's available on Apple Podcast. Your show's been removed from Apple Podcast from the Apple Podcast team. They sent us a link and said, for more details, go to the link, and the link only says your show has been removed from Apple Podcasts.
That's what they always do. That's what they always do.
Yep, that's why we're not on Blake Walley or the Next Level News YouTube channels today. So I'm glad everyone was able to still find us.
Yeah, because you got to follow us, The New American Media, youtube.com/The New American Media. And we're building out Rumble, and I'm being more active on X. You gotta put your energy and you have to put your eyeballs and energy into companies that don't actively hate you and want you dead or in jail. Okay, so let's start with Rumble and X. You cannot say the same about Facebook, Instagram, Meta, Google, YouTube, Alphabet. You cannot. These companies are the worst. I like some of the functionality of some of them, but that's why you have to be on X and Truth and Rumble, because they don't actively hate you the same way. Look at Bud Light, and I'll tell you what, I did actually have a Bud Light or a Busch Light the other day. I broke down. It was the first one that I had since the big brouhaha, as it were. But I went to a Cincinnati Reds Cleveland baseball team game, and on Tuesday it's 3-2-1 day. $3 beers, $2 hot dogs, and $1 ice cream. So I got $3 beers with it. I go, oh, what kind? They're like, Bud Light. I go, eh. They go, Budweiser. I go, eh. They go, Busch Light. I go, it's the same company. I go, well, at least it's not Bud Light. Fine, I'll take a Busch Light. So I did finally, but look at what's happening to Target with their tuck confusion push, and their anti-white training programs, and Best Buy with their anti-white agenda, their DEI stuff, and look at what's going on with Bud Light. The consumers are in charge here. It just you have to pay attention where you vote with your dollars and your eyeballs. So yes, Blake is in the doghouse. In the meantime, go to thenextlevelnews.com. TV's Blake Walley on Twitter. But yeah, the New American Media on YouTube and Rumble. We are building those out as well.
Yeah, so let's get to that. We're getting low on time, at least for me, Brian. So I got to do a little buzz through on some of this stuff since we're on the topic right now. Probably find the caption there for YouTube here. But YouTube, it's supposed to be about you and I, and it's been taken over by Google and big pharma, big tech, big government. It's completely manipulated, and now they kind of eased up on their policy about medical misinformation for a while, but now they've come back with a vengeance. And here is a tweet from Michael Schellenberger saying YouTube's new policy is that it will censor you if you disagree with the World Health Organization. YouTube recognizes that WHO's guidance might change, but if it does, it won't be because of debate on YouTube. YouTube is not a social media platform. It's a propaganda platform. Absolutely. And this is Matt Orfalea saying that YouTube no longer has the COVID-19 policy, but an expanded policy to ban any, quote unquote, medical misinformation that contradicts WHO or CDC regarding substances, prevention, treatment, denial of health conditions, blah, blah, blah.
That is such a terrible policy. Who makes them God? The WHO. They get things wrong all the time. Science is constantly changing. If science cannot defend itself on a daily basis, it's not science. As you said, it is merely propaganda.
Yeah, absolutely. Pharmaceutical companies don't want to get sued into oblivion because of their products are hurting people potentially. So that's they're really heavy-handed coming after people, including just getting into YouTube. So
let me add something here, and then kind of dig down, peel back this YouTube policy a little bit more. But I want to address a comment here because this is so true. It kind of ties into this. It was our last topic, but in the comments, Dreamer Ultra says, so much for things getting better. Beck usually toes the line, but they took him down anyway. And that's what I'm saying. There was a time where you had to be really fringe to draw the ire from the powers that be, air quote, from the elites, the air quote, from the social media underlords. And no air quote there necessary. I'll underline and bold and italicize that. But there is no placating and pacifying these people. There is no amount of towing the line and trying to do it right that's going to work. You're going to get destroyed anyway, so you might as well speak while you have the chance. Constantly moving the goalposts. You line up the kick, you measure, you factor in the wind gusts coming in from the southeast at 25 knots per millisecond. I don't know, whatever. But like, you make your kick, and the goalposts literally move to the other side of the end zone. You're like, I kicked over here. Well, the WHO might change things around, but they don't debate science on YouTube. Yes, science is debated everywhere, always, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year. I'm just going to try to do math.
Right.
Science must always be constantly defending its position.
No, that one, there's big money involved into it. So that's why we've seen what's going on with Big Pharma, the vaccine policies, and as well as the climate change stuff.
Well, that's how you get a lack of trust. That's exactly how you're going to push people into deeper, darker, stranger corners, and they will never believe whatever you're selling. You want people to believe what you're selling and what you're pushing and what you're propagandizing? Then allow the conversation to happen, and may the better argument win. You think I have a dog in the race, a dog in the fight, or a horse in the race? I don't give a shit. I'm just trying to find out what's going on. Harmful disinformation, harmful misinformation. Fuck off. I will dispute. I will wager. I will ponder. I will rack my brain. I will brainstorm. I'll throw a bunch of stuff up against the wall and see what sticks. That's what happens in America with conversation, debate, research, study, and trying to unpack and make sense of all of the confusing stuff that's being thrown at us. We will never just take what you tell us to be factual without us being able to use peer-reviewed information that can corroborate or debunk whatever that is. And may that process continue in perpetuity. That's what science is. Anything that's telling you otherwise is anti-science, is anti-medicine. So I don't know how much more boldly and vividly I can say every component of that. By the way, for countervailing views, please visit CISA.gov/rumor control. For elections, go to the WHO website and CDC.gov and CDC.gov/vaccine for medical crap. There. Good.
Yeah, it sounds about right. So, and I can just show you what else happened. So let's get back to this. It's from Ken D. Berry, MD. Many of his beliefs about medicine, health, nutrition go against the guidelines issued by the World Health Organization, CDC, NIH, AMA, ADA, and AHA. But with the updated policy of YouTube, I may or may not have problems on their platform in coming months. So you can find my videos at Rumble and Odyssey. And yeah, that's kind of what we're trying to do here as well, is kind of have a backup plan, because YouTube is not running a fair platform. And I had 2 strikes on 2 of my channels. One just eased off, so I can one of the strikes. So I think we can stream from there again next Tuesday. But when I went to try to appeal it, I just ran into this very comprehensive report. Basically, there's not a lot of wiggle room with it. So it's just a huge medical misinformation policy with YouTube not allowing content that poses a serious risk of egregious harm by spreading medical misinformation that contradicts local health authorities or the WHO guidance about specific health conditions and substances. So
they don't know everything. They don't
Yep.
know everything, and they have been incorrect.
Yep.
So I'm not doing it. I'm not I will never believe blindly what anybody tells me ever. Ever. Not a single time. Make as many policy updates as you want, jerks.
Yeah, well, now we're just not allowed to use their platform. So they'll strike it down, and there's nothing we can do. So
please see the ticker at the bottom of our screen directing you to cdc.gov.
Yes, exactly. Go ahead and look at all that stuff. We don't care.
I will never encourage my audience to not hear what the deep state is telling us to believe. But I will point out all of the lies that Fauci told us. Lie after lie after lie. After lie after lie.
So in a fair world, they should be deboosted, and guys like us should be boosted. We should be rewarded for being right, even though that we were punished. Instead of endured so many strikes, and then who knows what they do.
So who was right? Who was right? Who was right, Blake? Was the FDA right when they said, seriously, y'all, stop taking ivermectin, it's horse paste? Or were we right because it is effective and it is something that doctors are allowed to prescribe, and it is a Nobel Award prize winning drug, and it is affordable, and it does come with very limited side effects? Were we right, or was the FDA right? Our batting average is better than those people that we're supposed to believe always have the right answer. They've been wrong a shit ton of times.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But it doesn't matter. But yes, exactly. This goes to this article right here. FDA now admits doctors can prescribe ivermectin to treat COVID-19. And then we've also got another one. Medical board suspends license of doctor critical of COVID vaccines. They've done a lot of that stuff. This is one of the well-known, Dr. Sherry Tenpenny. So their board suspended her license and fined her $3,000. But yeah, they've gone after Dr. Robert Malone, and he basically created the mRNA vaccines. So it's not a fair fight. But YouTube is controlled, and so is most of social media. And they got caught. Pushing this vaccine on people, an experimental vaccine on people, which may cause adverse reactions, may cause myocarditis, may cause you to die suddenly. There's a lot of issues. There's adverse reactions. There's VAERS. There's a lot of doctors being shut down, and the masks didn't work, and the thing escaped out of a Wuhan lab. There's so many things that they got wrong, but they don't want you to know about that. And in fact, they will censor and shut you down for even speaking of it, which is why we're not on 2 of those 3 channels. And
wasn't that the exact phrase that got you banned, Blake, and you just had to drop it again?
I'm just pushing it now because I'm not on those channels anymore. So
you're on my channel. Hold on, I don't need any of your strikes.
Well, that's why we have. Exactly. Don't take my word for it. Right, exactly. What do I know? So you do make sure you look at the countervailing views
on cdc.gov/vaccine.
Absolutely.
But here's a news flash: vaccines have always had side effects, and sometimes, you know what? Maybe it helps more people than it hurts. But you got to say that shit. You got to be honest with the people. You can't strong arm them and kick them out of their jobs, not allow them to travel freely because they refused to put this thing in their body. That's what Harvey Weinstein did. He said, you can't work in this town, Toots, unless you put this in your body.
Well, you can't get the role. It's like, hey, I've got 3 actresses I can put in that role. Which one do I want?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's the way Hollywood really works, or at least sometimes with some of these scumbags. So there's many stories like that. So I don't know. Can you blame them? So sometimes, even though they were great actresses, maybe they weren't the right one for the role, but maybe they were willing to do something that the rest of them wouldn't. It's a sad state of yes, it's rotting culture. But Brian, I won't have time to get into any of the Hawaii stuff. I don't know if that was in the on the sheet or not. I can send you a few things.
Do you still have 12 minutes? I thought you had till 4:30.
No, I gotta work at 4:30. So, but I can just touch on it. I mean,
yeah,
I don't want to. I haven't gotten into too much of the conspiracy aspect of
Well,
what's going on in
conspiracy or
Hawaii,
not,
but,
I've seen videos of the wind knocking the power lines down. I've seen the videos of all the underbrush underneath all the power lines that has not been cleared, and I deal with that at my personal home. I've called the electric company multiple times to trim trees, trim bushes. I called them today about one. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of problems. I don't know if it's direct energy weapon or whatnot. If it's going to be a massive land grab to kick these people out of their land. Lord knows it shouldn't be, but I know offering $700 as a one-time payment from Biden while he's money laundering billions to Ukraine is the biggest kick in the nuts you could ever imagine from this ruling class that does not care about you. They don't give a fuck about you, said George Carlin. It's a big club and you ain't in it. Biden is the worst, and he's the Obama puppet. Never forget this is Obama working through this meat corpse, Joe Biden.
Yeah, absolutely. So regardless of whether it was a conspiracy or not, yes, Brian, you nailed it. They are giving nothing to Hawaii, a little pittance of $700, and they are giving billions to Ukraine. It's an America Last policy. We are not a priority anymore. We got Tulsi Gabbard blasting Biden administration's horrible response to the disaster. Maybe if they change the name of Maui to Ukraine, maybe they will pay attention to us. You've got Biden asked about the deadly fires in Hawaii, 100 dead, 1,000 missing. His response, no comment.
Any comments on the rise in death toll in Maui? Will you come talk about the Hawaii response?
No comment, of course not.
He had a smirk and a smile with it. It was, I put that out on Twitter at American_media_, follow us. But I put it out on Twitter earlier today. I'm like, you know, Biden smirking and saying no comment to this horrible disaster they're saying is at least potentially likely to get close to, if not exceeding 1,000 deaths. It's giving off some really strong Mike Pence versus Tucker. I don't give a shit about America. I care about Ukraine. I don't care about American issues. Giving off strong Mike Pence vibes there.
Yeah, absolutely. We kind of know what to expect if we were if we really got screwed and they put in Mike Pence. I shudder to think of that, but probably still be better than Biden, but not by much. Addition by subtraction, but let's hope we don't get stuck with that nightmare. But we got Hawaii Governor Josh Green revealing plans of the state to potentially purchase properties in the seaside town of Lahaina, I don't know how to pronounce that,
Lahaina,
which was devastated by the deadliest wildfire. So I know the state's going to require the land. You've also got Joe Biden again callously brushing off the question of the Maui fires. I mean, look, that does not look like a natural fire. Not, what do I know? I'm not a scientist here, but I'm not saying it's a direct energy weapon, but something is strange, and the administration just doesn't seem to be out to lunch. And here we go with another Joe Biden cutting off guard here.
No, not now. I'm going to be leaving. I'll be there on Monday.
Why is it important that you go?
Sir, on the family issue.
It's finally going to go there Monday, but not exactly reassuring. But
and how about let's just say no to the government buying that land? I don't like the smell of that. I don't like the look of that. I don't like the energy of that. How about no? How about put everybody back there? How about no? Then you can shut down all these conspiracy theories saying, oh, well, they did it intentionally so that they could buy up the land and put a smart city there. Okay, easy solution. Just say no. Everybody who was there gets their land back. We're not going to play any shenanigans. Deal done. Then it'll be over with. Let's see if that happens.
Right. Well, that'll be interesting. So we'll have to flesh that out a little more on another day. The last story that we had, kind of
this
one. Real quick, just going into the economy, there's some really bad economic news. And it seems like they are running out of options with the Federal Reserve and what have you, banking system. And Michael Burry is out. He was made famous as a movie, The Big Short. I think it's probably still available on Netflix. And he made a fortune in the 2008 crisis because he knew that the market was going down, and now he is back and he is betting, I guess, $1 billion. It's leveraged. The stock market is going to crash again. Michael Burry's got placing huge leverage short position on the market with put options, so it could be the Big Short version 2.0. A lot of people think the crash is coming, And there's not a lot of safe spaces here. Even Bitcoin and the crypto markets are in a lot of trouble with the Binance and Tether and Curve. Or there's a few different things, some landmines, or the Justin Sun, Huobi, Tron. There's a lot of bad actors in that space, and scammers and stable coins that are dubious, and a lot of things happening. So we'll see what happens. I think a good one is silver, not financial advice, but silver is extraordinarily inexpensive right now.
What is it, 16 or 17?
No, it's like 22, 23, but that's
okay.
Still incredibly low compared to everything else. So
it's
I don't
so
know
weird
why.
that silver stayed so low for so long. It's used in so many things.
Right. So they seem to be artificially keeping the price low. Again, not financial advice, but there's nothing wrong with it. If you get silver coin, I'm not even plugging anybody, but if you get like 999 silver coins, if you get any kind of financial problem, you can just liquidate those at your local pawn shop for spot price.
Or even 0.925. That's the sterling silver amount. 92.5%. That's the junk silver pre-1964 is 90%.
Yeah. So as long as you can do the math or have a good pawn shop around, you can liquidate that stuff. Might not be a bad idea. So with the market coming down, I don't know if or when it will. It seems like it's been dragging out and it's ready to drop down another leg, and it seems imminent, but it seems to be dragging on. So we shall see. But some of these people are putting their money out there, like Michael Burry. So be warned. Be careful. Stay safe. I got to go, but it's been a pleasure. Thank you all for being here, especially when we're down 2 of our channels. So great job, Brian. And we'll look forward to doing it again next week. So take care, everybody. And peace. I'm
Thanks,
out.
Blake.
Yep.
Go
TV's Blake
him.
Walley and the nextlevelnews.com, the archive. And we'll catch you next time. Everyone be good. All right. I'm out.
All right. There he goes, everybody. Yeah, Dreamer Ultra saying, good thing we have all that gold in Fort Knox. Oh, wait. Yeah, the stories about that. Oh, man. That thing's been empty, since the 70s? They've ran audits, and it's just tungsten. Wait, is it tungsten or iron? Like, it's got a gold plating, and it's just worthless metal bars underneath that all the gold was robbed a long time ago. You want to go down the rabbit hole and talk about Anunnaki, talk about ancient aliens, and maybe the 12th planet and Zechariah Sitchin. The theory among some is that there are beings from the cosmos who came down to this place, and they said, hey, there's a lot of gold here. We need gold. One of the theories is that they needed it in their atmosphere to grind it into dust and kind of release it as particulate. I'm not entirely certain exactly what the formula was, but they were kind of saying, well, they have gold here, but it's all down inside of holes. We don't want to do that. So they took the monkeys, and then they took the DNA, and then they spliced their DNA with the native, with the life forms that happen to be there. The Cro-Magnon man, the ape, the Homo sapien. Go back the evolutionary chain there, and it's like, well, once again, I'm going to quote George Carlin or paraphrase George Carlin twice. They want you smart enough to work the machines, but dumb enough to question their superiority. And so humanity was created dumb enough to just follow orders, and, smart enough to do the job. So, the fact that gold has been hoarded and looted and taken, that's not surprising at all. But yeah, they shorted it. They snorted it, or they shorted it. The big snort. I like that, Kenneth. They snorted it. The big snort. There's so much that they can't allow anyone to look at. It makes sense. Yeah. This whole world's about things that we can't look at. And I'm not a fan of that. I just think things are much more, things run much more smoothly when we can participate in the process. I don't like what things have turned into at all. What is that? If they run out of dollars, we'll tap that bish. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. Is the writing on the wall? Are we getting ready for another calamitous change in the world. Are we ready for another one? I don't know. Chicken Little, the sky's falling. It just sure feels like all the indicators say, brace yourself. Whatever that means to you, brace yourself. But I think this would be a great time to get fit, to get financially fit and really pay things off, save up a little bit, get yourself in a position where you can make a couple moves if possible. Spiritually fit, figure out what it is and what you stand for. Because if you don't believe in anything, you're willing to fall for anything. So you need some sort of a guiding compass, a North Star, if you will, to kind of keep you facing the correct direction. Because things could get weird. Geez, I shared something on one of the sites today. It was a Telegram, and it was a whole bunch of mud floods. Now, if you ever heard about Tartaria and about ancient civilizations, that it's every 250 years there's a great reset, or every Mayan cycle there's a great reset. You pick your timeline. The point is, whether it's Atlantis, Lemuria, or Mu, that maybe there are some timelines that get repeated, some cycles that we strap ourselves in and go for the ride. Buy the ticket, take the ride. Says geez, I was gonna say L. Ron Hubbard. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, dude. Shot him out of a cannon. Hunter S. Thompson. There we go. Woo. Gotta knock the cobwebs out. But yeah, debt free. Let's hear the debt free scream, Kenneth. Kenneth, let's give us the debt free scream on your keyboard. Whatever that looks like. Type out your debt free scream. That's what Dave Ramsey does. Baby steps. You get your $1,000 emergency fund, then you start on your lowest credit card and you pay it off completely until it's done. Then you work on the next one. It's called a debt snowball. Yes, being debt free is that's the biggest freedom. Kenneth, Yahoo! It's a Mario. Select player. Oh. Sorry, that just reminded me of all the Mario Kart games that I've played. Yahoo! Love it. Yeah, get yourself spiritually fit, financially fit. How about physically fit? One of the best things that could happen in a, grid down, collapse, world war, civil war, revolutionary war, global war, world, whatever. If you can be a little healthier and avoid the need for medical care, you're going to be head and shoulders above some of the other people that find themselves in difficult situations. So, do that. Dreamer giving Ken props. You demand, Ken. Still working on that over here. Well, I mean, we're all working on it to some degree. And, maybe there is no ever being caught up. You can never be fit enough. You can never be spiritual enough. You can never be, your savings can never be big enough. It's like, it's about the journey. Do what you can while you can. Kenneth, semi-retired. Yeah. Retirement used to be the dream, but hey, George Carlin. George Carlin is the theme today. They call it the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it. I'm going to end on that for today's program. I want to thank special guest Blake Walley. Follow him on Twitter at TV's Blake Walley and on his website, thenextlevelnews.com. My name's Brian Engelman, and for 12 years, I've been running a little outfit called the New American Media because the old American media has failed you. So do me a favor. I want you to bookmark thenewamericanmedia.com. Should all the social media chaos go down, that will be the one place we broadcast out of. thenewamericanmedia.com. Just bookmark it. Go to the site, bookmark it, maybe check out, maybe leave a comment. I don't know. We haven't really updated it much over the past, recently. But we will. That will always be our broadcast channel if push comes to shove. We're on Truth Social. Are you on Truth? Can you find us? We need followers there. The New American Media on Truth Social. On X at American_media_. And if you're on there, send us a message, a direct message or something, and let us know, and we'll bring you into our private group. We're going to have a group for the Agree to Disagree show. We want you to participate. On Rumble, The New American Media. Subscribe. We need subscribers. And do me a favor. Press play. Watch a show. Maybe scroll back, find a show you didn't hear. Or you know what? Just press play and let it play from another room and just go do something. Because we need the views, we need the analytics. These are little things you can do. You press play and let it play. Same with YouTube. Shit, I got 1,300 some videos from the past 12 years. Go watch a few. Or find a 3-hour one, press play, and go on a country drive. It's still logging those minutes, and that all counts for analytics. Our goal would be to become monetized again. We were for several years. Then they took it away. But we're almost back. We just got to get those view numbers up a little bit. They want like 1 million views on your shorts, or I don't know, 3,000 hours or 6,000. I forget exactly how they break it down, but these are ways you can help the new American media. Spotify as well. If you're on Spotify, can you subscribe to our podcast? We put the show out when it's done. The Agree to Disagree Show is the name of the podcast. Go on Facebook, type TNA. Okay, I'm going to tell you exactly. Capital. This is on Facebook Meta. Do a search for a private group. Capital TNAM, apostrophe, lowercase s, space, quotation marks. The Agree to Disagree Show. Capital TADS. First letter of each word. Capital The Agree to Disagree Show. I think I said that right. Parenthesis, quotation marks. And then you can find us there. There's a private group, and it'll say, how'd you find us? Say, Brian invited me, and I'll let you in. Because I'm telling you, that Facebook group, that private Facebook group is where it's at. There is a lot of action all day long there. But go to Instagram, instagram.com/the new American media. That's another good site. And like I said, Telegram and Signal, search for TNAM chat, TNAM for the new American media. Follow us in all the places and tell your friends, please. Leave your comments, etc. And finally, I couldn't have said this any more times than possible today. Go to CISA.gov for countervailing views. CISA.gov/rumor control, rather. Yeah, for web election chatter. Go to the WHO website for guidance. In CDC.gov and CDC.gov/vaccine, because we have to tell you that. I mean, do your own research, Hey, Kenneth just did the Facebook thing. Hang on, I'm going to check this right now. Is Kenneth about to enter the wild, wacky world of... Let's see. Oh, wait, I don't see it yet. Did you do it recently or just this second? Anyway, I'll take a look. I don't know. I'm going to go to the group, the Agree to Disagree Show. Members. Invited. No, not invited. Where are the new members? Okay. I don't see it. If you just did the Facebook thing. Did you find our group? Because I didn't get the alert yet. Maybe it'll come through in a moment, but I don't see it at the moment. But yeah, follow recently. Are you in the group then? Did somebody let you in and I missed the... Because I do. I have a bunch of admins. So anyhow, thank you for joining the Facebook group, I think. But yeah, that's where it's at. I mean, we share stories all day long over there. Trying to get more into Twitter. Twitter's much less user-friendly, but it's a much better company than anything Zuckerberg related. So anyhow, I digress, but I appreciate every one of you. Help us get the word out. Tell your friends. Participate. Leave your comments. And yeah, we'll be back. We'll plan on being back on Tuesday unless we decide to do something in between. But we appreciate you. We love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody.